Good afternoon and thanks for joining us right here on Midday Kentucky. Yes, it's right. David Goldman's in the house.
Hey, people.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's
Why?
a big day.
It's a big day. We're going to get to that later on. You're going to interview yourself.
Yes.
You know,
It's
we've got a mirror ready for David. He's going to look in the mirror like Vanity Smurf.
Yes.
Did you have the Smurfs here in America?
Oh, yeah.
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 Do you know what Vanity Smurf was?
I don't think so.
Okay, Vanity Smurf was the little female Smurf
loved herself
that
with the
continually
long,
looked at
blonde hair.
herself
Yeah.
in the mirror.
I mean, I could see that. Yeah. Troy made me shave. He made me get a haircut.
Yeah.
Made me do a lot of stuff. He
Someone
said that
actually said to me, they said,
Wilderness
what's going
Dave-
on with David? I
Wilderness
said, I'm
Dave
not
wasn't
quite sure. If he
accepted.
doesn't shave and cut his hair, you'll never see him again.
He is really ruthless to me, people. He keeps me nice and in the box.
I keep you in your box.
He's like, David, this won't do.
I can say something, but I won't. All right. Everyone, we have to remember this. It's 9/11.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really important anniversary today, marking 17 years since the September 11th terror attacks. Now, the number of first responders who are dying from illness they got that day continue to rise, and there is now new hope for people who lost loved ones during the attacks. Here's a report from ABC.
Nearly 2 decades later, the attacks are taking a staggering toll on first responders who risked their lives to search the debris for victims. They were exposed to toxic dust and debris in what one retired agent calls a cesspool of cancer. In the years since 9/11, more than 150 police officers have died from 9/11 related illnesses. That's nearly 8 times more than those who died on the day of the attacks. And there's been a large increase in cases in recent months, with 18 firefighters dying in the last year. One officer said it's like bin Laden reaching out from the grave. And they're not alone. Federal agents are also at risk, and the FBI director says not enough are seeking help.
We're only now beginning to understand and witness the long-term effects of that work, because nobody knows what tomorrow may bring.
17 years later, there is new hope this year for the families who lost loved ones on that day. DNA technology is helping identify more remains.
All the profiles that we generate today, this year, these are remains that we had no hopes of in the past.
The New York Examiner's Office is employing new techniques allowing them to extract DNA material from bone fragments, identifying hundreds of additional remains.
That commitment to making these identifications is as great today in 2018 as it was in 2001.
Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
It is absolutely amazing what continually is going forward from this horrific attack. I remember, do you remember where you were
Yeah.
when it happened? Where were you?
I was in school. I was in a classroom, and one of my best friends, his dad was in New York flying out.
Oh, really?
And he
From the airport?
Yeah, from the airport. And it was just we were all watching it live, and
Really?
it was just it didn't seem possible. And then when we saw the first one get hit, but then when we watched the second plane hit the tower, it was just like, it was unbelievable.
Surreal.
Surreal.
I remember I was in the movies in Australia, watching a movie, and we left the theatre, and everyone's phones were ringing. And I thought, well, that's a bit crazy. Why is everyone's phones ringing?
Right.
So I didn't even think anything of it. I got in the car and drove home, and my partner at the time said, hey, come in here. The World Trade Center's just been hit. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Like, I just didn't get it.
Right,
And
like-
then the panic went through Australia that, is this an act of war? Is this going to happen in Australia? What is the next targets?
Right.
And is the Harbour Bridge? Like, they started thinking of all these points in Australia that they thought could be an act. And it was really frightening, especially if you haven't lived through a war or an act of terrorism like that.
Right.
It's really confronting.
Oh,
and
it was.
You'll never ever forget it.
No, it's one of those things that it definitely it makes us just take for granted every day. Really the blessing of just having so much freedom.
Yeah.
You know, so it was scary.
Well, take a moment in your life today to to think about what went down 17
Yeah.
years ago today. Absolutely crazy. All right, let's move on from the show, everyone. Okay, talk about finding buried treasure. While demolishing an old theatre in Como, Italy, builders found a pot full of 5th century, catch this, 5th century gold coins that are worth millions of bucks. Archaeologists are not sure about the exact amount that they are actually worth, but the coins will be examined and dated before going into a museum. Here's the thing, I know if you find treasure on your land or in the ocean or somewhere, don't you get to keep that?
I think there's usually definitely a process of where
Oh.
you can sell it to the museum, kind of like a finder's fee.
Oh, okay. So I wonder if the builders, but now this is a theatre that was closed down, I believe, in '97, and I'm just wondering if the builders get to claim.
Right. Like, who's going to get the, basically, who gets to carry that purse?
Yeah. Could you just imagine? Steve,
Look
our
at that.
cameraman, he's sitting there like, I want some of that gold. Yeah.
It's so much,
I would
too.
just, to be honest with you, I'd just like to be able to see it
Oh,
in
yeah.
real life. That's what I'd like. Alrighty, everyone, tell us if you found something worth money buried under your house or in the backyard. Go on to Midday Kentucky's Facebook. I've never found anything that's been valuable.
I don't think I have either.
Not even a treasure trove of, you know, when you go to an antique store.
Little something.
When you think you're going to buy an ashtray for $2 and it turns out to be $50,000. I remember I had a client who, I'm not joking, this is a client back home in Australia. She went to a garage sale.
Right.
And she bought a vase, or what do you, I think
Yeah,
you call it an urn or
vase,
a vase here.
yeah.
And she paid $20 for it. Anyway, someone said, oh, that looks like a really expensive vase. You should go and get it appraised. She did. It made world news. She was like valued at $130,000
Oh my
from this
gosh.
famous, I think it was Lalique or something. No, I can't remember. But it was from this famous
Wow.
man back in the day. And the woman that she bought it from said that it was never meant to be sold. She said, no. This woman who bought it
Yeah.
owned Speedo, the company, Speedo Swimmers.
Oh,
They
yeah.
invented that. And so
Wow.
she's like, no. I bought it for $20. It's mine.
Oh, I'm
Shrewd
sure.
businesswoman. Shrewd. All
Wow.
right. An idea Amazon submitted for patent is turning heads. It's just been announced. It's proposed that working... maybe we could move my prompter along would be great. There we are. It's proposed that workers sit inside of a metal cage that would allow them to safely enter areas where robots were working and delivering items. It was a way to keep their employees actually safe. Since then, Amazon claims that they have no plans to use those types of devices. Here's the thing. David, I'm going to let you go first. What do you think?
Well, I feel like Amazon is already under enough scrutiny for the way that their employees have been treated.
Oh,
you know?
really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought
it's-
they were a good company to work for.
Oh no, it's they have had so much in the news about that. But the big thing is that I just feel like remember Uber when it hit that lady driving the Uber cars?
Yeah.
So these robots are dangerous. So I do applaud them for trying to be safe, but putting a human in a little cage, I don't know. We kind of almost already do it anyway.
I'm
on
often
certain-
told to get back in my cage.
Well, I'm sure, yes.
But I have to say to you, I do believe there is some safety precaution for
Right.
it, and I think it would be perfectly fine. All I have to say is I would laugh more
Oh yeah.
at locking certain
Really?
people up in the building in a cage to go and do their job. I don't.
It's just one of those things where I just think it's, if you're on a bulldozer, you're in a little cage already. So really, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay, well, we want everyone to know they're not putting them in cages now.
Yet.
Yet.
But wait.
I just love how these things come up. Alrighty, now this is something serious. Nike sales have seen a 31% spike since they released their trailer for the Just Do It campaign with Colin Kaepernick. However, the New Orleans suburbs of Kenner has banned any city money being spent on Nike products because the mayor signed off on it. Now, his memo says nothing about doing this because of the quarterback was connected to the campaign, but one wonders if that really is the case. Let me explain that. City money, they're saying no city money can be used at any Nike product. So let's just say the local school wanted to buy some basketballs or footballs or something like this, I'm just saying.
Right. Oh,
And
yeah.
they were Nike branded. The local council won't help fund that. Here's my thing. Is this racist? Why are they making about Colin Kaepernick? I don't get where this is coming from.
Right. Well, I think it's just, I think it's kind of wild that the town is even getting involved in.
Well, I don't think
you
it's
know-
the town. I think it's the council.
Well,
And
yeah, but this city council, you know, that is, let's say they wanted to get shirts for the maintenance department, and they were going to get Nike shirts.
Yeah.
You know, just collared polos.
Yeah.
And they're saying, nope, we're not going to do that. It's kind of like, you know, if it's a good product, that's fine.
Well, here's the thing. Nike sales are up 31%. And I have to say, the more I've seen this whole commercial, that's 2 minutes in length that we showed here on Midday Kentucky last week, it's not about Colin Kaepernick.
Right.
It's about being an incredible sportsman. It just happens that they use his voice.
Well, I mean, I do think they're saying that he sacrificed everything because, you know, nobody will sign him. So he's basically, they're saying, you know, make a big sacrifice and it'll be worth it because he gave up everything to make a stance.
Yes.
But we
Well,
all
I
know it's
asked
very
someone-
controversial.
Of course, but I also asked someone, you know, it must be very hard for him financially. They said, Troy, he made so much money.
Yeah, 16
already. Like,
million.
it's not like he's got no money whatsoever. But I love the whole commercial. And what upsets me is this mayor is making a broad statement on behalf of the community that put them in there as councillors. It's not their role
Right.
to, I understand it's their role to spend money.
Right.
That's the job, but they shouldn't be spending it because, not spending it because of a commercial.
Right.
That's a broad statement.
It is, and you know, again, you have a council that doesn't agree with the political side because this is very political
Yeah.
with Kaepernick and everything.
Yeah.
So it's just a touchy subject, and the truth of it is that I agree. I don't think that the city should have anything to
I
do.
think it's a slightly racist thing. Something else that I
Could
want to
be.
bring up about. A charter school in Georgia is bringing back paddling as a corporal punishment. I find this crazy. They sent students home with a letter for parents and guardians asking them to fill out whether they would or would not allow their child to be paddled as a form of disciplinary action. The paper specifies that it would take place behind closed doors and there would be no more than 3 hits. Now, if parents do not give their consent, then the student is subject up to 5 days of suspension as a disciplinary action. The response from parents range from finally, this is happening to, I can't believe you're doing this. I have to say this, I didn't know what paddling was until David explained it to me. How do you feel about it? Now, these are students from K to 9.
Yep.
Now, K is 5-year-olds?
kindergarten, yeah, 5, 6, yep.
And 9 is what, 12?
You're talking about 13.
Okay.
probably.
In primary school, we call that from 6 to 12.
Right.
I got the cane. We
Oh,
call it
man.
the cane, you know, with the long cane.
Yeah.
Continually, probably every month. I was a wretched child.
Obviously, it didn't do anything.
I was a wretched child.
Yes.
I really was. That's why I was shipped off to a school.
I was. My father had a thing called a razor strap. It was a double edge, you know, and
Did you get the clap?
yeah, they'll spank. Yeah, and it didn't happen many times.
But this is your dad.
This
It's
was
not
my
the
dad,
School.
and I agree. And I think having this other authority, but I will say there've been a lot of psychological looks at this.
Yeah.
And from my knowledge, they've said that it is not productive.
I don't think it's productive at all I don't think it's productive for any adult that's not the parent to discipline the child.
I think the problem is so many adults aren't disciplining their children.
But the parents, you mean?
Correct, yeah.
But Marvin's saying who discipline the child if you're not the parent. I'm saying I don't
It's
think
just-
that should be happening.
It's just so hard on teachers because they have to deal with these kids who haven't been disciplined.
Well, then they get suspended.
Yeah.
And it's up to the parents.
That's true.
Then
Yeah.
you get rid of that child who's causing the problem, and the parents have to deal with it. I think that's the most
I do like that.
sensible way. I don't
Yeah.
know. Dee, you're shaking your head. You agree as well. I
Yeah.
think that's the way. Tell us what you think. Head over to Midday
it's a good
Kentucky's
subject.
Facebook page.